How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Karl Kopinski, and if you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. I grabbed a bunch of his sketches because I think they're wonderful to share with you guys for today. Just look at this beautiful, beautiful work. Great posing, great silhouette. You've got really fun line of action pushed through there, great perspective and anatomy, wonderful draftsmanship, really expressive faces, a great composition overall as well. Just a phenomenal example of someone who's just mastered their craft. I really urge you guys to check out more of his stuff. I think he's a wonderful artist and a really great talent. Really love the expression that you get in here, and then all the details into this armor set and his kind of backpack full of eccentric little nobules here. Is kind of that steampunk sensibilities to it. Great little connection between the eyes and the flower here that really helps set the mood here, and it gives that dichotomy of technology versus nature there too. Just a wonderful piece. I really like this guy too. From the bit that I was reading about him, he's really into cycling, and I love that he brings that element to his work as well. But I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from him, and he said, "One should not approach the work as an obligation, but rather something that you love to do." I think this is a tough one when you're trying to get better, because you want to just focus on improving. And I think, like we talk about quite often, is that to focus on the journey, not necessarily the destination or the successes or the failures, but just that you're continuing to go further, to take another step. I think it's important along the way, though, to not view the journey as an obligation that you're forced to take another step, which I think is something that kind of hits not in that first year or even the second year or the third year, maybe around the third year, but where you're starting to know the basics. Maybe you haven't mastered them, but you know them, and then you're just looking into the implementation and the developing of your own style or whatever it is. But you start to, the fun aspects of that first initial, oh, what's this new thing? Oh, what's this new thing? Start to fade away, and it's more about how can I improve and how can I improve. And so I think it's one thing that I've just kind of been, I guess anecdotally, my voice is going away there, is that it's not that I've been feeling monotonous or anything, but trying to find elements where I can add more fun or more joy or more love to the things that I'm doing along the way, while still maintaining that sense of growth and pushing yourself. And I think there's a good balance. One of the things that Arbitrary Jane on Twitter talks about every once in a while is this, not necessarily a tipping point, but you have a lot of things in life are kind of built like a scale or a spinning plate, where you have one side that tips one way, and then eventually it's going to have to tip the other until it kind of balances itself out and gets back into its original state. And I think it's kind of that ideal of, you want to push yourself, but then you also want to have fun and enjoy it while you're doing it, because it's your life. You want to enjoy the things that you love, but you also want to get better and everything too. So I'm rambling on from this quote, so let's go ahead and get into some animation. I've got a weird idea that I think could be fun to play around with for today. So I was thinking we do a run cycle. Again, that's not that outrageous, but what if we did a piggyback run cycle? So you'd have a character on the back of the character running, and then we took it another step further than that. So we did a piggyback on a run cycle. I don't know how this would actually work, so we're going to play around and we're going to see if we can get something fun here. So what we're going to use is the Malcolm. This is the older one. I think this is V1 from Anim School. It's just a little bit lighter weight than the V2, which I really enjoy, but it's a little intensive and slows down a little bit, at least with the current rig that I have, and recording at the same time too. And we're going to be using the Stewart rig from Animation Mentor and the Goon rig that we use all the time from the How to Cheat in Maya series. And I'll throw links down in the description below if you guys want to play around with any of these rigs on your own. I think they're all top-notch, wonderful rigs. So go out there and play with them. So let's see how this is going to work. Again, it's not like I try to do stuff that, kind of exemplifies what we were talking about earlier, where we're going to try and have some fun while pushing ourselves along the way as well. So let's start off with, let's just see if we can let's do this the other way. Let's go window, outliner. Just want to hide the other characters for now while we get into our main pose here, which would be, let's see, it's just so heavy on that Malcolm rig. Let's grab just the Stewart rig and we'll create another layer and we'll turn that off, and the Goon rig and we'll create another layer and we'll turn that off, just so we can just be looking at Malcolm here for a moment. And let's figure out how we want to do this here. So we're gonna do a run here, and I think this will be a couple parts. I don't think we'll be able to do this all in one turn, but I don't think it's gonna be 8 or 10 parts either. It's probably gonna be around, I guess, 5 or 6, but we'll see how we end up pushing this and everything, just because we've got 3 different characters, which will probably, even if we only stick with about 48 frames, it's going to take probably about 2 episodes each per character is what I would think. Try to gauge how long it would take and bring that forward here a little bit, bring this back a little bit more. I think what I'll end up doing with the arms is parent the hands to the feet of the other character. Probably how I do it. So let's see. Do they have other IK hands on this character? Let's see. Let's not worry about that just yet. Let's go foot. No, not foot roll. Toe raise. Toe raises does nothing here for us. Okay. Let's just do this one then. It's the ankle. I guess we could just do it that way. It's kind of a cheat way though. I'd rather have it, maybe we just go with this toe controller here and bring that up that way. That's fine. And we'll go with this one there. We'll bring it back a little bit. Bring that back there. Now, where would be the IK-FK switch if there was one here? Hold on, I think I'll just pause that while I look for it. Alright, well, I could get the GUI picker for it and then do it that way for sure. But you know what? While I was thinking about that, I think I'm going to stick and keep them in FK. Because then I can tag the feet of the other character to the hands of this, and I think that's actually going to be a better route than doing it the other way around, now that I think about it a little bit more. Yeah, that'll work. But let's go the other way around. So bring this forward here. And we're going to have to actually keep both arms kind of forward here too. Go a little bit further back, I guess. Again, just trying to set up our first initial pose here. And this would probably be a little bit more forward. And that'd be a little more broken there. So it'd still be tilted up because we'll have it holding there. Forward, up a little bit more. And same with this one. Okay, let's start there. Maybe a little more curvature in the spine here. I just want to create a more interesting pose where we can. Let's bend that over a little bit more. Like that. And we'll leave that for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our file. Remember, it's always good to save multiple versions and to save often. We'll see how long this is going to take us here to save. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn our second layer on here. And again, we're just kind of building this, so it's not quite there. Might even scale him up a little bit more. Let's see where we go from here. And bring him down a little bit. Back a little bit more. And no, translate. Let's rotate that all forward a little bit more here. Alright, it's going to be a little laggy shot to work with here. Back a little bit more. Gotten to use Stewart in quite some time. I missed that little guy. Alright, and go rotate that just a little bit more. We'll grab those feet here and bring those forward. Push him over there and bring that up, back a little bit, maybe out. And rotate it back here. And this one. Go ahead and bring that back a little bit more. I'll have to tweak the posing of our Malcolm here a little bit more here too. Let's see, how would we want to do that? Bend these up a little bit more. And bring that back a little bit. There's the actual shoulder here. This one, right? Okay. Up a little bit more. I'll go something like that. And let's look at that thumb. we just want to have a good storytelling pose to start with here for us. So just keep tweaking this until it feels right here. Oh, come on, there we go. And bring that over. We'll probably rotate that up a little bit more, like that. And this one, bring it in. Back a little bit more. And let's look at the pinky. We'll go back and rotate it in Y and Z a little bit more here. Okay. That'll work there. Let's look at the other arm here. And again, we haven't set up our parenting or anything so far. So we still got a ways to go. And we've got the other character to do and some more posing. So this is gonna, like I said, it's gonna be, even if it's a short shot, it's gonna be a lot of detail in this one per frame for sure. And again, just carve in these hand shapes. But I think once we really have the basic posing and stuff working for us, the rest of it, the meat of the shot, shouldn't be too difficult. It's just going to be playing around with forwards and backs and scrunches and all that kind of stuff. Especially on the upper characters, they're just going to kind of react to how the bottom character moves here. Malcolm. And bring that over. I just think this will be a fun thing to play around with and learn from together here, for sure. And if you guys ever have ideas of shots you'd like to see, feel free. The comment section is your guys's, so throw that stuff down below as well. And bring that over just so we can actually see it through there. Great. And bring this one over a little bit more. Push that a little bit more here too. Alright, and bring this one over. We're going to have a lot of parenting and everything to do for this shot too. But I'm not going to worry about that until we get our basic posing built up. Alright, so there's the start of it here. And let's go ahead and bring these arms in a little bit more. We're going to have to do something kind of similar to how Malcolm is with his arms, just so that we can set up Goon on the top here. And bring this in there. Bring that back there. There. Okay. I'll go ahead and save our file here. Okay. And let's go ahead and turn on Goon here. He's going to be up at the top there. And bring that down over a little bit more. Bring his legs up over here, back there. Probably have to scoot him back a little bit more. Okay. And his leg controller's kind of hidden there. Let's bring that up. And rotate it back. And forward a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and hips back a little bit more here. Bring him forward a little bit there, and back there. Bring that neck forward here. Head forward there. Bring this arm down, and we're going to swing this one forward here. And bend it up a little bit. And bring it back there. And bring these fingers all in. And get the bases pushed a little bit more here. Tips. Again, just keep pushing this a little bit more here. Get that thumb down, over, bend it a little bit here, there. And let's bring that down a little bit more. And this up a little bit. And this up a little bit more here too. And that a little bit more forward like that. And what should we do with this arm? Have it gripping onto Stewart's hair. That might be a fun idea. Pull it back a little bit further here, and bend this one up a little bit more. Go in. Alright, and then we'll just twist that hand pose here. X. And a little bit in Y there. And get these fingers. This one, and there, there, this one up, and there, do a little bit of spread here. Actually, I think maybe it should be a little bit further forward. And bring that down a little bit more. Over. And a little bit of rotate X here as well. And get that thumb. And we'll bring that back a little bit. Bring that tip in a little bit more. We'll do something like that. Alright, so let's continue off with the Stewart's arms. We didn't quite finish those up yet. And we'll bring those in a little bit more here. Do something like that. Probably a little bit further back here. And a little bit tighter up there. Okay. And then this would be a little bit further in here, a little bit down, and bring this thumb up a little bit more. So we can try and get a nice looking grip there. And this one we'll want to bring down a little bit more. And that one will scrunch it in. There. There. And actually tilt it a little bit we might need to push this leg out a little bit further here. And same with the knee twist, push that out a little bit more so you can kind of get out of Malcolm's skull a little bit more. And I'll bring that out. There we go, it's a little bit clearer. Great. Okay, and maybe a little bit further back as well here. Okay, and kind of similar something on this side. Bring that out. Knee twist out, so again we're not intersecting with his head there. Should look okay. And get this hand down, over, a bit more. And let's tilt it in a little bit here as well. Okay. And bring our Y in, and there again. And bring our Y in here, and there again. And bring that thumb down a little bit more there. Okay. I think this is an okay place to start with. So again, let's go ahead and save our file here. And we'll start getting our parenting set up. So what we're going to want to do is parent Goon to Stewart and Stewart to Malcolm, and have locators in between there so that if we want to move those on top of that, we can do that. So I'm trying to think through the hierarchy of how we want to do it. So we want to create a locator here, and we'll go ahead and place this one like right in the Goon rig's butt, right? And we'll parent hip to what's this? This Stewart, right? Yeah. Should we do the whole thing? No, because I want to do the feet to the arms. So let's try this. So hip, window, outliner, and show all. I'll control click the locator, parent those two together. Hold on there. There we go. And locator. Stewart here, parent those together, and then if I move Stewart, that should move the Goon rig as well, right? Let's try that again. Take a couple steps back here, and let's save our file one more time there. Okay, so instead of parenting this main root to Stewart's main root, I parented Goon's main root to Stewart's like main cog there. And those that way, with that parenting setup, that should make sure I'm still recording here. Let us move both of those together. Okay, so great, that works. Now we need to set up the parenting between Stewart to Malcolm. So we'll create another locator, and following the same ideals, that should work similarly. So we'll try that again. Since each rig is set up differently, it's going to be a little different, but I think that same methodology should work. So we'll grab the butt controller here, control click locator 2, parent those together. Nope, that didn't work again. Okay, I think what we did was we grabbed this main cog and control click the locator 2, parent those together. Now if that worked, then we have, okay. Hold on again. Alright, gotta think through our ordering here. So we have, this is the Stewart rig, right? Okay, so I've got this one, and I want to parent, control click to locator 2, parent those together. If I did that, then I should be able to move locator 2, and that'll move everything again. Okay, great. And now I want to get locator 2 and control click the locator 2 and shift click the hip of Malcolm, hit P and parent those together. If I do that, that should move everything here. Alright, great. So the next thing we need to do is parent the hands to the feet, or the feet to the hands here. So let's go ahead and just save our file. And again, how we did that was we grabbed the main cog and parented to the hip of the character below throughout that. So again, then we went the main cog and we parented it to that. And then we put a locator in between, so if we need to move the actual character, we can do that while still having connected to the other ones. So again, let's go ahead and just save an alternate version of our file since we set that hierarchy up. And parenting can be a little finicky, so I'd say always play with it. You got to kind of figure out what works for what you're using. But the main idea is, and I always do a locator in between, is to create a locator, then grab the, let's say it's the phone that I want to hold up, grab the phone, and then we have a locator that would be right here in my hand. We parent the phone to the locator and then the locator to my hand. So that way when I move the hand, the phone moves with it, but because the locator's there, I can still animate the phone in between. It's kind of the thinking behind it. Okay, so before I go any further, I want to set up the parenting of the feet and the hands, and I didn't finish with this thumb for some reason. It still doesn't look so great. Okay, and this one, go ahead and push that over a little bit in Z, and we can get that thumb down a little bit more, X, and a little bit more there. Alright, so let's go ahead and create another locator here. And we'll punch it right into the middle of the wrist there. And make sure we find which one is the wrist controller that we want. It's that one. And this is his foot. So control click locator 3, parent those together. Again, what's going on there? Gonna be finicky with me. You know, I'm not gonna worry about that just yet. It's kind of acting a little funky between the rigs, so we'll just stick with what we have for right now, and we'll start working from here because I want to do a little, at least get this shot started. So let's go ahead and turn our other characters off. Grab everything. Actually, let's turn them back on one more time. We'll grab everything here. Make sure we just have our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and polygons selected. Go to frame 0, and we'll set our first key on everything here. And after an hour, when that registers here, because we've got a million things that we're keying. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn those off. Again, like I said, we've got everything working here, and we'll just set up the feet for now. So we'll go 8 frames here. I'll grab this one, push it forward, rotate it up there, down, and we'll flick back 16, and beat 24, 32, 40, and 48. Okay, and we'll grab this one, go back to there, bring this one back, rotate it back there, bring it up here, and then bring it back to 8, bring that down, delete this one, between those two there. Just get our feet set up. And we'll worry about some of that other parenting stuff in a little bit. Might do some of that off cam because I don't know if that's going to be that interesting to watch just while I set up the parenting on those ones. So, got that all working there. Let's go 2 frames later. We'll bring that down. Zero that out. Do we have a heel roll or a foot roll here? And we'll bring that, go a frame later. Zero that out. Zero that out. Zero that out. And again, we'll zero that out. Zero that out so we still have it flat. And we'll keep it down here, zero it out, do a little bit of foot roll this way. Actually, I think we'll set that one and delete this here. And we'll look at the tip of the foot here. This guy, this controller here, zero that out. Again, want that foot roll to be flat there, just so we have a couple of frames of flat here. Okay. Right, we have an idea of how we want to approach those there. And we'll go 2 frames later, and bring that down. Some foot roll up this way. Zero the foot roll out. And flat down. And zero that out. That out. Okay. And go back up. And then 2 frames later, bring that down. Give us a little bit of foot roll here. The next one, flatten that out, flatten that out, flatten that out. Keep it flat on the ground till here. Okay, and let's go to the other foot. 2 frames later, drop it down, do a little foot roll here, and zero that foot roll out again, keep it on the ground. 2 frames later, still have it on the ground there, and go back up. 2 frames later, go down here, give us a little bit of foot roll there. Zero that out so it's flat on the ground. We need those points where the foot would really flatten down. Back up again. And one more time here. And zero at the foot roll there. Get that rotate here. Bring that down. 2, still keep it on the ground here. Okay, that should work all right. Now let's look at that toe that we started out with, which is the one that we're actually using here. Here, and then flatten it out there, and drag it back there, and rotate it up here, and flatten it out, and drag it back there, later, flatten it out, and then back to what we had it at the beginning. Okay, and let's look at this toe. Bring it up there, and flatten it out there. Drag it back. And push it out there. 2 frames later, flatten it out. I probably need to keep it, make sure that it stays flat there. So keep it zeroed out there. Okay, and I do this one. Yeah. And then on the contact, we'll lift it up. 2 frames later, zero it out. So that way we get that successive landing. Keep it flat here for another frame. And bring it back there. And we'll go back into where we started with that toe up there. Alright, so let's just do a quick little play blast of that and see how that's coming along. Alright, it's an okay place to start from. And let's go ahead and start doing a little bit with the hips here. We got there. Let's go and bring it down here, up there, and down here, and up there, and down here. Up there, and down again. Down again, up again, down, and then we gotta go back to where we started there. Okay, let's get our window animation editors or graph editor open here, and let's kind of balance these out a little bit more. And we might delay them a frame or 2 here as well. We'll see. Probably bring those up a little bit more. So let's see. Just kind of framing through how that would feel. It's okay. Let's turn our other layers on and see if they're still working correctly here with what we've got. Okay. Again, let's just do a play blast just to see how this is working. It's all working together here. Alright. Yeah. Still have a long way to go with this one, but the idea will work great. So, let's start getting into a little bit of variation here. So like on this one, we'll grab the translate X. A little bit laggy here. Let's turn those other characters off right now. Bring that over there, and over there, and over here. It's been so long since I did a run or a walk cycle. Well, getting a little bit slower than I used to be. But we're also dealing with a lot more here. So let's look at our translate X's and balance those out. And for any of you who are looking for any sort of walk cycles or run cycles, I've been doing them with various rigs and different styles and different ways for the last, I think we've been coming on a year now, pretty close, every day. So tons of videos down below. Feel free to scour through the archives anytime you guys want. if you're looking for more, or different ideas, or different rigs that you could play with, or any of that kind of stuff. Tons of videos here. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate Z here, there, come on, other way, there we go, back again, and back again, and back, and go back to 0. Okay, and then again we want to look at our rotate Z's here, balance those out, and we'll offset them in the chest here in a moment. Actually, let's do our rotate Y's here as well. So we'll go ahead and lead a little bit there, lead a little bit there, back, and back to where we started. Okay, and clean those up, balance them out a little bit better. Make sure we grab the beginning and the end so we can cycle correctly. And balance them out so we're not favoring the left side over the right side or vice versa. Okay, and now let's look at the chest here, and we'll offset what we did in the hips. So we'll do a little bit of rotate Z there, and back again the other way, and the other way again, and this way, and that way there, this way here, and back again. Rotate Y's, go a little bit, this way, that way, that way. I'm just trying to offset what we did with the hips here. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. I need a sneeze button. Bring that over there. And I'm going to have to do some cleanup here. I don't think I hit those just right yet. And we'll bring that back. Okay, so let's look just at the rotate Z's because that's where we started out. And balance those out a little bit better. As you can see, we kind of favored that side a little bit more. So let's even it out. And if we need to tweak it or crank it up, we can always do that. And this is just going to give us that bit of tilt and a bit of twist to the hips and the chest here. And we're going to rotate Y's. Did I throw in an extra one there? What was that? 8, 16, 24, 24, 32, 40. No, I just didn't do it right there. Okay. And again, try and balance that out a little bit better here too. Alright, so let's see how that looks there. Again, we'll turn on our other characters and we'll do one more play blast here. Alright, I think that turned out okay so far. I think we could probably push the up and down a little bit more, and we'll start doing a little bit of rotate X in the spine here as well. So let's turn our nerve curves back on. And we're going to crank up the translate Y a bit more. I like this idea, I think it's fun. And let's look at our rotate X's. I want to go in between these two. So forward there. Let's turn those other ones off right now. And back here. this will just add that little bit of compression and a little bit of change in the spine once we get the chest working here. And back there. And I think once we get this working, that'll probably be our time for today. Went by real quick with you guys today. Alright, let's balance that out a bit more. Try and go about the same, equidistant from the point of origin there. Doesn't have to be exact, but just so we're in the same ballpark. Especially with any sort of compression and stuff, it's going to feel, if you don't get it right, like he's swinging back and forth, and you just kind of want to get a little bit of bob and push in the belly and in the spine, so they don't hold that same locked in pixel lock spine or stomach. Alright, and then let's go grab that chest controllers here. Okay, and then we'll bring them back a little bit there. Forward a little bit there, back a little bit, and forward, and back, and forward, back, and forward, and back here, forward again, and kind of over-exaggerating here, so we'll definitely have to pull it back here in a second. Now let's just look at those rotate X's and we'll scale them all back and balance them out. Especially towards the end, I can tell that I was getting off a bit here. I want to try and stay in the same kind of universal space here with just some movement throughout it, rather than really lean forward and lean back. And bring that up. And that one. In and that in. Let's see how we're doing here. Try and keep it around the same spot. And this is one of the with the compression, I always work a little bit tighter, because if you don't work too tight, it gets a little weeble wobbly. If you don't know what a weeble wobble is, you probably weren't born in the late 80s or early 90s, maybe 70s. How long ago? Who knows? Probably before I was even born. Well, we'll see. Might be a little too much. Scale it back here. And probably too much in the hip as well. I think we have a little too much side to side too, so let's take that translate X and just pull it back just a hair. And let's see how we're looking now. Turn these back on and we'll do another play blast here in a second. And yeah, do one more play blast, and then I'll probably have to wrap it up for the day. Alright, I scaled back the rotate X a little bit more. There too, it's just a little over exaggerated. Still have a long way to go with this one. Let's zoom in though when we do our play blast for wrapping up for today. It seems a little too far away, so let's zoom in there a little bit more. And I'll play blast one more time here. So while that's play blasting, we'll go ahead and take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Karl Kopinski, and he said, "One should not approach the work as an obligation, but rather something that you love to do." So find the thing that you're passionate about, that you love to do each and every day, that you're passionate about, that you want to conquer, the medium that you're looking to master, and enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. I love you guys lots. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. I hope you're having fun with this one. I think this is going to be a fun idea to tackle. I've got to figure out how I'm going to approach the parenting of the feet and the arms. I'd like to still do a little more movement throughout there, but seems like it's a little funky going between the two rigs there, so we'll figure out something, but I think this is a good start. We came up with a fun idea here together, and it's starting to come, so maybe only 4 parts. We'll see how this takes, because I think this is a fun one to play around with, and not something that I know that I've seen everywhere too. So you guys are amazing. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. Keep being awesome. Remember, the comment section is yours. If you liked something that we did here, if you disliked it, if you learned something, if you didn't learn something not to do, any of that kind of stuff. If there's work that you're working on that you want to show off, that you'd like some encouragement or some thumbs up, I'm happy to do that. I get a little busy sometimes, but I always appreciate the comments. And you can hit me up on Twitter or Facebook, any of those kind of things too. The links are down in the description below, but before I ramble on for too long, we'll wrap it up for today. Keep being amazing, and we will see you for some more animation, some more imagination, some more working on our dreams together and exploring creativity tomorrow.